this information? How is it settling in you? What is it saying to you? Nothing yet. Melissa.
Well, the things that we've been practicing will help us open the do channel. But maybe what I haven't been aware of that much is the REM and the necessity of opening up the REM channel and how to do that exactly. He did say REM 22 at that.
Oh,
Go ahead.
well, like, piggybacking off the opening up the yins, so when you open up the ren and then opening up the yins, it kind of makes sense a little bit, but that's why I soften, like, when I, my instructors will come around and, make sure you're soft here now, it's like, oh, that makes sense, because you need, in order to open the back, you do need to open the front in anything, so. That last segment was pretty interesting about the Jing, the water, and that was really interesting to know that spirituality, you do kind of hear a lot about it being sexualized and like, when everything's in line, you just feel so great, but it's to break it down to that part of it's really not about the sexual part of it, to be actually spiritually enlightened. You almost put that on the, separate those two.
Chris, what are you getting?
He was really clear about the sexual energy being not the intent for his definition of the microcosmic orbit. I didn't really pick up on him giving saying this is how you open up the do channel and the ren channel. I didn't get clear instruction on that. I don't think that was what he was intending to do. I think he was trying to, describe what the microcosmic orbit meant to him. And so he brought up other errors, like not tracking the path near, up the back and down the front, not opening up the ren channel, because then the rising energy doesn't have anywhere to go. And he had some warnings for that, but he gave a lot of description about how spirituality and sexuality for the microcosmic orbit are separate. I hear that he says that the microcosmic orbit requires the Jing to be quiet. Yeah.
Dorothy, what are you getting from this?
What I got from it was the Ren and the do channel go hand in hand. If the do channel is out of control, the Ren channel should be opened up to bring it back, so you're not in flight or flight mode and being all hysterical. And the Ren comes in and distributes the energy evenly, so it takes you out of flight or flight mode. And then he was talking about the things in the body that connects you or not connects you to the cosmos. And then he brought in the spiritual aspect along with your sexuality and how those two do not tie together.
Jen, what are you hearing?
Getting more And knowing that it's to help balance the dude and the ren, just understanding how it's more like yin and yang to kind of be more stable with yourself. And how they are, harmonize with each other and work together.
Dorothy? Got you. Danae?
And probably the biggest thing for me that I really heard was, if the dew is open and the red isn't, then you get lots of chaos and, it has to be open to balance it. And that's what's supposed to be the most. It was a good little speech. It was funny with the sexuality and, I did like how the spirituality of it, he said, and one thing that hit too is like, even if you want to have children to bring you water, you have to stop for like 3 months. And I thought, okay, that's interesting.
Eric?
I thought the correlation between the ren and the dew, like it does make the meditations, the qigong, like these internal things that we are doing, make a bit more sense. How he said, like the microcosmic orbit, people say is, the energy that goes around you, like it's not that simple. And hearing kind of that deeper look at the dew and the ren and how they intermingle and how they really kind of require one for the other, that yin and yang of them, but being so much more complex than just the energy that moves up and just energy that moves down. And then also even how to bring it down, like making sure that while it's easy enough to bring it up, also being able to have that focus and bringing it back down the front. That was my main takeaway.
Gretchen, verbalize. What do you got?
The processes of understanding ourselves and being able to understand life. To do that, you want to understand these processes that the body does, because that's where we are, each of us, and so, wow, what a cool piece to learn, to understand what generates an even and balanced energy, yin, yang, when they're out, being learning that, what it affects for your life, regeneration, children, purposes probably, spirituality. So
Everybody give me some words here. Leanne, you didn't give me any words.
The stages of the process, the stages that there are with it, the opening of the channels, acknowledging that it's more than just the ren and the dew channel, that there's more going on than just traveling jing and qi through those channels, having the jing and the qi to accomplish the cycle, and being aware of the deeper internal movements that you're getting, that you're cultivating.
Okay, so what all this is about is putting mind in the body. Putting mind in the body. So that the body is not some disparate, abstract thing. mind and body are one. Okay, so we're going to link the minding of the energy through the do and the rin channel with our breathing. The, the breath is a condensing and a releasing process. So the thing about this is in order to do this properly, you have to be breathing to the lower dantian. Breathing in the upper chest, shallow breathing, doesn't work for you. It doesn't happen. So the first thing that you learn when you come is you learn how to breathe to the lower dantian. Get back that umbilical breathing here. Okay? Now, when that becomes normalized, as you inhale, the diaphragm pushes, lower abdomen expands. And then that becomes the normal way of breathing, right? As opposed to hyperventilating, right? You know, it's like you go around and you wonder what's wrong with people. I mean, you know, it's like, what's wrong with people? Because they have all kinds of interesting maladies going on with them. And the basic process that they have is this hyperventilating, right? Breathe deep. That is deep. Breathe deep. That is deep, right? And you know, it's like you would think that the health providers would coach you on how to breathe properly. However, it's not in their manual. It's not in their protocols. Okay? And because the emotions and the physiology are so connected, they see it when it happens, but they really don't believe what's happening. We know, let's say, a person with diabetes, type 1, type 2, doesn't matter. We know that a person with diabetes is going to have aberrant emotional states. We know that. We know they're going to get weird, they're going to get strange, they're going to get right hyper. We know they're going to get depressed. We know that a person with diabetes is going to have aberrant emotional states. Why? Why? Right? If we knew why, we could probably, tweak it, but we don't know why. So, let me stay on track. So, what you have to do here is first return to your original breathing. Here. Now, to activate the microcosmic orbit, the chi goes up the back down the front. So when you're breathing, inhaling, this is expanding. Now you condense and push the chi up the spine. So as you inhale, you're contracting here. Inhale, contract, push the chi up the front. And then sink the chi, push the chi up the back, sink the chi down the front. So you get this reverse effect. As you inhale, instead of the abdomen expanding, when you inhale, you contract the abdomen. So you get this isometric process, right? Inhale, the abdomen is expanding. You are constantly contracting the muscle. And so you're getting this condensing right here, right down here. Now, you guide that up the back, and you have to consciously guide it up the back, or else it'll just hang out down here. You guide it up the back, and you release it down the front. Now, two of my teachers used vocalizations to do this. One was hung and ha. The other was and ha. Okay, so it's hung up the back, ha down the front. And then once you get the big idea, then you turn it into a subtlety. And it's that hunging and hawing that really heats up the body. It heats the body up. It's that condensing and releasing that heats the body up, and the body gets really, really hot. Now you do that until it becomes habitual, so that when you're exerting, let's say your emotions flare, right? Energy stuck in the head. You got to be able to release that energy back down to the dantian. So migraines, headaches. I don't get migraines and headaches. I used to get migraines and headaches before I learned qigong, but I don't get migraines and headaches because I can disperse the qi. So what's pain? Right. So if you have a headache, what's the implication? What is that saying?
It's the head sheet, it's stagnant.
Right, the chi is stuck in the head. Okay? So you can get to the point to whereas wherever the chi gets stuck, you can release it. Wherever the chi gets stuck, you can release it. And I used to get these frontal migraines, these frontal headaches, until I learned how to release the chi. And then whenever I got the precursors to the headache, you can feel the nerves starting to tingle, I would release it. And it would go away. And I'm like, oh shit, this is really cool. Okay, this is really cool. But what you're doing is you're putting your mind in the body and affecting it. Just like we can imagine and speed up our heart rate. We can imagine and speed up our breathing. We can imagine and release any area, any part of the body that we choose. So, very good. So, you can shape and form your body any way you choose. Those of you doing yoga, that's basically what you're doing, right? You're releasing the stagnations and constrictions from the body. Now, after you release the stagnations and constrictions from the body, then what? After you've achieved uh, um, some type of samadhi in yoga, what do you do next? What do you do next? Anybody know? I mean, is there a land of the samadhis where after you come to this stage of enlightenment and samadhi, you go here and be with all the samadhi people? No, that's not what happens. What happens? You just go and live your life, right? You're supposed to go and live. See, at some point in these practices, you're supposed to be complete with them and go live your life. Some people think the practice is the point. Your life becomes the practice, and that's all you do is the practice. No, that's not it. You go live your life. Some people live life before they start the practices, and so now you just go walk about. Go walk about. Me, I sit in my room. I'm serious. I'm serious. I sit in my room.
You recommend that?
I'm sorry.
Do you recommend that? Just go and sit in our room once we've gone through
I don't know.
the.
I don't know, but I hear that's what my housemate says. My housemate says, "All he does is sits in his room," and I'm like, "Well, what else is there to do? I could go out and risk my life, right? Snowmobiling, snow machining, skiing, jumping off mountains, right? Or just walking down the street. And I could go out and risk my life, but no, I don't. I don't have those proclivities anymore. Because see, these practices are designed to turn you into not a normal human being, a natural human being, a natural human being. And human beings are okay just the way they are. Right? You're learning to be okay just as you are.
Is that another way of saying you're learning to be okay with the empty? Is that another way of saying you're okay with just the emptiness, the quietness?
You're okay with the just isness. Right. You're okay with just the way it is. Now, that is not the way the world is. People are not okay with just the way things are unless they're enlightened. When they're enlightened, they're okay with just the way things are. Look at the idea of changing the world. You're going to change the world in any way, shape, or form. It doesn't matter. Look at that idea. Do you know how fruitless that is? Oh, let me tell you. Let me tell you right now. Look at all the people who came along to change the world. Have they succeeded? Nope. Nope. They were really busy. They got real busy, real active, right? And a lot of them got really popular. People really, we really like the idea that you want to feed the children. We do. We like that idea. But here we are, 2021, and we still need to feed the children? Come on. Right? We like the idea of eradicating poverty and eradicating the disparity between people. That's a good, noble idea. And I don't know, people have been trying that for the past 50,000 years. Has it worked? No. No, it hasn't. We think it might have worked because we live in the United States. And our level of poverty is uh, different. It's different. But travel around the world and look at people who live uh, with very little amenities. And this is their life. I traveled around the world a couple of times. It's like I'm American born and raised. I traveled around the world a couple of times. I came back to America. I said, I'm not leaving. I'm not leaving. I'm staying right here. As bad. No, no, no. Look at this. Look at this. I'm a person of color, as they say, right? As bad as it can be, I'm staying here. I'm not going out there. I'm not going out there. I'm staying right here. Why? Because as bad as it is here, it's way better than a lot of other places. Way better. And don't think that people who live in good countries have it all that great. People who live in good countries, what are they? They're embattled, right? The barbarians are at the gates, and in their minds they're fighting off the barbarians at the gate. Take our southern border into consideration. Barbarians at the gate. I'm not disparaging these people, right? I'm just giving you a perspective. Right? Go to Europe. What do we have? Barbarians at the gates. And what do they want?
What we have.
Yes. But why do they want it? Where did we get it? Where did we get it? We're a colonial power. Where did we get it? Why are we so wealthy? Because we took it from everybody else. That's why. And so now, why are they at our gates? Because we got their stuff. From their point of view. From their point of view, we got their stuff. As a colonial power, I'm not talking about the U.S., I'm talking about all of Europe. As a colonial power, They sucked all the energy from all the rest of the world, and now they have it here and they're living well, quote unquote. Except for the barbarians at the gate who want their stuff back. And we're not giving it back to them.
That's right.
We're not giving it back to them. It's not going to happen. So what I'm saying is that even people who have these ideas of doing well in the world, it's fruitless. It's fruitless. You have to learn to live with what is. This is it. We have in Alaska invading species of fish, invading species of insects, invading species of this and that, right? So now what am I doing? I'm going away from the human level to right the natural level. Invasion of species. What happens? One, say it.
They die off.
One prospers, one doesn't. Guess what? Isn't that just the way it is? That's the way it is. I'm gonna cry because the Africanized bee is taking away the honeybees, right? Rights to life. That's been going on for a million years. And you think you're gonna change it. No, you're not going to change it. When you look at it from a certain perspective, the changes that happen in the universe are dynamic and beautiful. When you look at it from a particular perspective, the changes are dynamic and beautiful. But if you're right in the middle of those changes, they're pretty horrendous. They're horrendous. But you're not going to change it. You look at star charts and you see how one galaxy is starting to take over another galaxy. Right? They're just one is going to cease to exist and the other is going to prosper. What can you do about that? Go out and start telling the galaxies, no, you stay over there in your corner. You stay over there. You sit here. No, 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 no. It's not going to happen. So you have to learn the perspective of life, which is what? Putting mind in your body. And when you put mind in your body, you put mind in the universe. When you put mind in the universe, you know that the universe is happening just the way it's supposed to. It's happening just the way it's supposed to. So we're trying to get you to the point to whereas you don't think there's anything wrong with the world. Babies are dying. People are starving. People are homeless in the streets. Yeah, well, homelessness. What's a home? A bunch of sticks erected on a dirt floor? That's where it starts. And some people don't have that. Well, if they don't have it, it's because they wanted to do something else. Oh, I've lived with the homeless, not in their homes, but I lived with the homeless. I know the consciousness. The consciousness is we can do what we want. We can do what we want. Or we don't do what we don't want. We don't want to work, we don't work. We don't want to build a home, we don't build a home. And there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with that. I've met some people in life that just wanderers. They wander from place to place to place. And they engage with people. How long? When I was a wanderer, I will tell you, every place I went, people took care of me. Every place I went, people took care of me. Even the ones who couldn't afford to take care of me took care of me. Oh, you look like you need some food. Oh, you look like you need a bed for tonight. Oh, you look like. I didn't ask. Really, I didn't ask. I was just wandering around. And someone will say, you know, you look like you need some place to sleep tonight. And I'll say, I do? It's written all over. So I need some place to sleep tonight. No. Because essentially, we take care of each other. Essentially. Once we break down the resistance between people, and what we're looking at doing here is breaking down the resistance between our body and our minds. It's it's unsettling to some people to realize that the mind is the body and the body is the mind. That's really unsettling to some people. Okay, that's fine for people who are, let's say, healthy, uh, well kept, and gorgeous and beautiful. Oh, yeah, my mind is my body and my body is my mind. But what about people who are diseased and ill? Their mind is their body and their body is their mind. We slow down there, don't we? But it is.
You just want your mind to get a little better.
You just want your mind to get a little better?
Pull the rest of it behind it.
Mhm. So, what you're going to see here in these practices is people are going to come in with a lot of imbalances, a lot of disparities. And as they start to regulate the mind and the body, these disparities start to diminish. They start to diminish. So, minding the body, putting the body and the mind into synchrony and harmony with each other, synchronicity and harmony with each other. We started with the breathing. Now, the next stage of the breathing is to condense the breath. Condense the breath and guide it to areas in the body. So this idea that I was giving you with regards to what we call reverse breathing, inhaling and contracting the musculature, exhaling and releasing the musculature, while we guide the breath to different places in the body, is essentially what you're learning. Okay, what do you hear me saying here? Oh, I gave you the technique that he didn't give you as to how to affect the microcosmic orbit, or how to move the chi to any parts of the body. What are you hearing me say here? Let me start here.
Um, well, I guess what I kind of, so it's for this, it's the self, the microcosmic orbit is the orbit within the self, and it's affecting change for yourself within your own journey of healing. Can you put that out to other people? Like, are you affecting change that's larger than yourself, or is this just purely internal?
You cannot be present with other people without affecting them. How you affect them is more important than whether or not you're affecting them or not. Are you affecting them? Yes. How are you affecting them? What are you hearing?
The breakdown of my body, you know, and breaking down the breath and contracting it. Because I think every once in a while I would do that, and my body would just naturally do it. But then I was like,
Oh, it's a natural thing that we do from time to time. Yeah.
yeah. So now when I stand in movie, I'll be able to feel more mindful of that. But just for me, it's just definitely getting out of your head and just you have those moments in your life to just breathe through it. Feel the emotions and breathe it through. Breathe a lot of things through that you think you need to, and then let it go.
Melissa?
Seems like a lot of stuff to absorb, but,
It seems like, but
but just being more mindful of that. And you say connect the body with the mind and using that breath to be disposed to nature.
Dorothy,
My job comes
go.
to, when women give birth,
Mm-hmm.
they have to reconnect to that breath to get the baby out. And when the baby takes its first breath, it's breathing right there where mom pushed her mouth out. And I hear someone that's saying for like, when you take that breath and it goes to the back and come around, some of them have to scooch down a little bit more to really get that baby to hook up. And now I can see the little circle of them taking that breath and seeing that energy of the Ren and the dew helping get the baby out. And the other things that you said that resonates with me is just to enjoy what is. And
Did I say enjoy? I
No,
don't think I said enjoy.
yeah,
I think I
Yeah.
said be.
yeah.
Yeah.
Yes,
Be with what is. Yeah.
yeah. And, when I feel that first hint of stagnation coming on, just take that breath.
Mhm.
And
When you feel that first hint of stagnation coming on, you consciously disperse it. You disperse it. Because you can feel it coming on, look at it, and look at it manifest. Yeah. But you have to consciously intend it to disperse. Chris, what are you hearing?
I hear you shared some techniques for path for us to follow to get the microcosmic orbit meditation to have this be successful for us. I heard you comparing, well, if it's microcosmic orbit, and then that's supposed to be something that you can extend onto the rest of the universe, then if galaxies collide and killer bees are coming, and so you don't get in the way of the killer bees, but also don't get in the way of your own. Or if your own orbit is something that's a microcosm, then not getting in the way of it. And so I hear you saying that it's a change that's dynamic and youthful. So accepting what it is important.
Yeah, it can be viewed as a beautiful changeless dynamic. It can be viewed that way. Or it can be viewed as the most horrible thing you've ever seen. But that's a choice that you're making. Jen, how are you feeling about this?
Feeling good,
Mhm.
breathing.
Mhm.
Definitely before starting Tuina, I didn't really breathe through the lower abdomen. It wasn't really focused as much. But getting into this, focusing more on breathing to the lower abdomen, I can feel like all the stagnation with my head. Like I get really bad migraines sometimes, and there was that one time when we did that breathing exercise, like it totally flushed out. Um, so I can see that
You see that it can happen.
it can happen, yeah.
Right.
And see that alignment and stance can get the water to running, but
Mhm.
breathing can help
Mhm.
contribute to that.
Mhm. Mhm. Danae, what are you hearing here?
Hearing in the mind and the body harmony, being one with the universe is kind of what I'm hearing as well. Breathing is the key. And I'm hearing, fretting over things that we can't change. It's a kind of choice and go rogue. But it's kind of our choice. And we can accept it and let it be. And I like that.
Mhm. What I found is that when people estrange things, when I can go people to people. Well, those people are strange to us. They're not like us. They're not us. When we take that position in our mind, it's easy to be cruel. It's easy to be inhuman towards them. But when we look at them and say, "Oh, they're just like us. We are like them," now it's easy to be loving and compassionate. even if they don't look like you. It's easy to be loving and compassionate. And okay, so that me telling you when I was homeless, people would look at me and say, "Oh, you look like you need this. You look like you need that." Right? It was just basic human compassion. Basic human compassion. And I feel fortunate that I got the opportunity to experience that because it changed how I viewed the world. I viewed the world as, everybody out there was hostile. But when I lived in the world, lived in the world, right? I found that they're not. They're not hostile at all, per se.
Just always-
To the exclusion of Kevin. But once you get to know her, once you get to know her, once she gets to know you, it's all good. So, how we choose to view those outside of ourselves and things outside of ourselves determine whether or not we're going to be compassionate or whether or not we're going to be cruel. We're making that determination. Gretchen, what are you hearing here?
Going on what you said, softening the resilience between people. So,
Softening the resistance between people?
yeah,
Yeah.
resistance between people, yeah. So you can hear what's going on and contribute. And extend the beginning places of these health and healing. So you can practice doing that till it becomes something that people understand from you. Because you want to learn to breathe and you want to help other people feel relaxed, breathe, and let the processes work for them.
Kev, what are you hearing?
Well, I was just thinking about the fact that I just had to I paid attention. I lived in this little town, Issaquah, and used to be an old mining town. And the first thing that I thought about is that I used to go by the bars and it says no miners allowed. And I always felt really sorry for the miners. I spelled it different. But sometimes you just have to step in. We all say that we like, we're for everyone and we're this and we're that. But then at the only high school reunion I went to, one of the guys that was in my high school class was Black, and he showed up at it, and nobody really paid attention to him. And at the end of it, we were standing next to each other, and they had this thing that you put a picture on or something. And I said to him, he was just like frozen. And I said, "Do you want me to do that for you?" And he said, "Yes." And then he left. So I just try to be really aware of people who are being left out or being viewed as not someone that you want to deal with. And sometimes it's really hard. I don't get approached by a lot of people who are on the street and dirty and hungry. So I don't have to make that decision for the most part. But I try to make the decision when it's there in the right direction. Because there's people that nobody wants to talk to in a given situation. And I don't want to be the one who let that break.
There's nothing wrong with the world.
Shit, I feel bitter already.
I'm glad I could help you.
Okay, so I have outlines from, I think, 2 people so far.
Is it 2, 3, 5, 7, 8?
Somebody help her out.
2, 3, 7, 8.
2, 3, 7, 8. Well, I gave you 5.
I think they talked about 5.
I was in there because I remember we just skipped 4.
Yeah, which skipped 4.
I did 2, 3, 5, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, 8. And I actually picked up the old version, so those ones are from the newer, the revised one, which I'm finding out they're not, the books are not
Exactly the same.
exactly the same, which actually, the older version is, I was reading it this morning, and I'm like, oh my God, it just resonates with me way more than that other one does.
Mhm. I understand.
Leanne.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I understand.
Is it okay just to give you this instead of printing more paper?
No worries. You'll get it back.
Thanks.
Okay, so after the assignment, you should be more informed than before the assignment, right? However, this is a lot of information. A lot of information. And it puts the scientific method of working with and viewing the body into metaphor and poetry. And they don't tell you what the body is, they tell you what the body is like. Well, it's like the water flowing down, right? It's like the sun and the moon. It's like this, it's like that. A lot of people have problem with those abstractions. However, when you look at the big picture, the whole picture that they're giving you, it all works together. And you can use the metaphors to change the state of the mind and the body. It should be that the mind tells the body to do something and the body does it. That should be the case. And it actually is, but it's not direct. It can't be direct because we don't have enough control over our minds. I mean, we'll walk around and say, oh, I'm stupid. Right? Well, if your body actually took that in and started manifesting stupidity for you, that wouldn't be a good thing. So we don't have enough discipline and control of our minds to have that direct body mind connect. But if we discipline ourselves with regards to our body and our mind, we can control it. Right? So the body is saying to the mind, you might say anything and do anything. I can't follow you. I can't follow you. You're crazy. And we are crazy because we're conditioned to be crazy. We're not conditioned to have a disciplined mind. Some of us, we get older, we have a very conditioned and disciplined mind. But we haven't been taught how to use it.
There's the rub.
We haven't been taught how to use it. I'm going to leave that there. So, thank you for your participation. Thank you for your activities. And we'll pick up next week. Thank you for coming.